Hello and welcome to an episode of Atomic Vinyl Reviews. My name is Jacob and today we've got another unboxing video. And I'm super excited for this one because it's about freaking time this thing actually arrived. NECA figures, they take forever to get here to Australia. And I don't mean like getting them posted from like another country or whatnot, even though that does take a while these days. But to actually have them appear locally where you can actually buy them, that seems to take forever for NECA figures because they're just not worth importing, because both the postage costs to send them over here plus the fact that like the currency exchange rate and all that stuff just makes them way too expensive. But yeah, this thing finally arrived. It was a bit of a pain because the postman didn't drop it by the door or nothing like that. They just took it to a post office where I had to go collect it the next day. And the post office wasn't the normal one. It was one, like, on the other side of town. So, bloody hell. It was a bit of an ordeal to get this thing. But it's here. And we'll open it up now. Alright. There we go. So it just opens up like that. And in here we have the box of the figure itself. Just in bubble wrap, pretty much fits perfectly in this box, which is all packaged really nicely. All happy with that. There we go. A bubble wrapped King Kong NECA figure box. Let's see, what's the condition of the box like? Because I like it when these things are in decent condition. It's pretty good. Not the best, but pretty good. This is always a little bit of an issue when they post these things, because the, little hook kind of gets in the way, but other than that, looking pretty nice. Nice matte box of this thing with the actual image of the figure on the front here. It's a little bit dark. I would have probably, I don't know, added a little bit of contrast or used a slightly different design for the box, but it does look pretty neat. It's coming out actually pretty nice on camera for you guys there. Around the side, they have the his more traditional looking face, his more sort of quirky looking face, which is definitely the one I'm going to be using for this thing. Around the back, we have more of the figure there. Some more action poses. Really nice. Ooh. Includes interchangeable head and hands. Written down the bottom. Very nice. Some info about the figure down below. So, oh, it's actually got the guy who sculpted it there, Kyle Windrix. Good on him. And all the other people who worked on this particular figure. So that's very nice. I like it that they do actually credit the sculptor, because they don't always do that with NECA figures. So yeah, this is, to give you guys some context, this is the NECA King Kong figure. So this is not based on any specific movie. This is just NECA's generic take on the character of King Kong. This is probably the closest figure that we're likely to get of the original 1933 King Kong in a while, though, because, like I said, this particular face on him is really reminiscent of the original 33 Kong, but the figure in general, from what I've seen in like other people's reviews and photos and stuff, isn't actually really super accurate to that one. So it's kind of like it's based mostly on the original, but it has elements of all the Kongs kind of mushed together. It's a little odd. But regardless, let's check out the figure. Oh, he's cool. He's quite big. Wow. Okay. There he is. I like that. I like that he has this face on him when you open him up. That makes me really happy. And he's really big looking. Like, I know he was meant to be taller than, like, your typical, say, NECA Godzilla figure and all of that sort of stuff, but he's a lot more chunky looking as well than I expected. Oh, that's really cool. Okay. Good surprise. Let's actually take him out, give a good look at him. Again, we have another picture of the figure on this side with the more grumpy face. It's really dark looking as well. This whole box is just quite dark looking. I'm not sure I'm overly happy about that. I think maybe if they put like red letters here and sort of brightened it up a little bit, or maybe even just going with like a black and white theme, like the original Kong film or something like that. I don't know, there's something about this box where everything kind of just blends together, and I get they're going for like a jungly kind of vibe, but I think they could have done better. I'm just like a bit spoiled for choice, I guess, with the recent Godzilla figure boxes that they've been putting out with those amazing, amazing poster art details on the front where they're just really bright and they just catch your eye. So this one is a little bit more reserved in that regard, so less fond of the box, so it's less likely that I'm going to be displaying this box, but the figure itself, from what I'm seeing, looks pretty sweet. So let's open him up. Let's take him out. Just gonna cut across here. There we go. Grab a ruler, because this helps kind of just open the box really smoothly without damaging anything. I have a little technique that I did a video about a while ago on how to open these sort of boxes with a ruler smoothly like that. As always, there's this nice cardboard backing in the box here. I think that just has like a really dark foresty pattern on it. It's almost black from what I can see here. But this should just slide out. The figure himself. And there we go. There is our NECA King Kong figure. This is angry face. His much more playful face, and I really love this face. That's so cool. His fur looks nicely done. It looks like he's got a lot of articulation too. There's his interchangeable hands. There's his feet down there. Really like the color. It's a nice shade of brown. Already you can kind of see the main difference between this guy and the actual Kong from the original movie is probably his legs. They're a little bit long. Like, they're just very tall looking legs. It's kind of odd. It's less visible right now because I've got him in a close-up just to show you guys the details. But if you actually move him back like this, yeah, he looks a little bit tall. It's a little weird. Anyway, let's break him out of here. Break him out of his chains. Oh, I wish he came with chains. That would be really cool. I do have some chains from the NECA Kong. I'll have to dig those up, and maybe I can use those on this guy, and that could look really cool. We're going to compare him to the NECA one in a sec, but I'll just break his little binds at the moment. There we go. Finally, got this guy in hand. It has been a long time waiting. A long time. Let's see how he moves. Okay, he's got like ratcheted joints in his pelvic area. Let's see. Arms move like that. Double jointed elbows, that's always a positive. Let's see, he's got a couple of other joints just around this area. So it looks like his arms are very well put together for moving around, which is excellent. It's got these nice fist hands stuck on him when you get him out of the box. That's real cool. Haha, this is nice. Oh, I love his expression. Oh, this is a great looking figure. Great looking figure. Let's see. Legs, ratcheted joints again. Also got double jointed knees, which is very good because you can kind of mess with them like that. Legs are a little stiff in some areas, like this joint here is a bit stiff feeling. Worst case scenario, you can warm them up to get them to, you know, move. It's also got some rubberized sort of plastic bits like this area here on his butt where his fur is. You can feel it's got like that rubberized kind of piece of plastic. The rest of him is like it's actually a fairly tough hard plastic by touch. It's got a nice sort of roughness from his fur, which I like. It's not quite as rough as like the NECA figure again, but it is very well done. Like one of my favorite things about this Kong, aside from like the quirky face that he has here, is the texture of his fur. It's very lifelike, and it actually has a lot of detail in it, which I'm really happy with. It looks really sweet. Again, I freaking love this face here. I think it's really well done. This one really looks like the original Kong from the original film. Like, I don't think it's 100% spot on, but it really captures that vibe. And it's definitely the face I'm going to have on him permanently. I don't think the other face is really gonna have any shelf time on this figure, just because, I don't know. Like, I'll bring it up and give you guys a look at it. Like, here's the other face, and the thing about this one is I feel like it could be the same Kong, but to me, it almost looks like it's just like a completely different looking Kong. There's something about it that just doesn't look like it's the same creature. Like, I guess it could be, but I don't know. I'm not particularly fond of this one. Like, it's really cool that they added it, and I kind of see why they used it in a lot of promo images and stuff like that, because it does have a cool looking sort of open mouth. Because I'm usually a big fan of the open mouth variants of figures and stuff like that. It's got really nice detailing inside there. The teeth are done really well. Tongue's really cool. Good paintwork on it too. Eyes are done nicely as well in these, actually. But, oh, there's just something about this face here where I just love the character of him. He actually, I feel like he has a bit more character here. He does look a lot more like the original Kong, which is my favorite Kong. And he's just nice looking. And he also does have an open mouth on this one. It's just not an angry mouth. So, yeah, I feel like I'm not going to be compelled to really use this other head on him at all, almost. But it's still a really nice thing to have. I like that a lot. So let's take a look at his detailing. Again, really nice fur. You can see he's got a fur going all across his body. The original Kong, his fur was actually made of rabbit hide, which is really cool. So the actual stop motion puppet had real fur on it, and you can kind of see during the film, it was always like moving, because when the animator was touching the puppet, that would like mess with the fur, and it leaves like this really weird looking effect. Back in the stop motion days, that was something common with when they used real fur, and you can really tell that with the original Kong. And they captured that fur pretty well in this thing. The original Kong didn't have very long fur or anything crazy like that. He just had a nice, even, rough looking fur like this thing. And I think it's beautifully done here. Done in a nice brown color, a really nice variance in the paint across them as well. They're kind of subtle, but they are there, as you can see, like some more darker patches around there and then some lighter patches. Really cool. Would have been interesting if they added sort of like a silverback effect to this guy as well, but nonetheless, still looks really nice. He's even got these scratches down his chest here, which came out really well. They have this beautiful dark red kind of a glossy paint in them, which makes them look really brutal and really fresh, which I like. Now he's got his hands here. These are his fist hands. I think they're sculpted really well. They got nice detailing across them. The wrinkles and everything look really nice, really realistic, and really fit the vibe of this Kong. Come down to his legs. Again, done really nicely. Same with the feet there. They're sculpted really well. Looking really realistic, and they fit really nice with this figure. So yeah, all around, I'm pretty happy with this guy. So like I said, this guy is pretty big, and I actually just noticed I'm having like a surreal moment where normally you'd have you'd see Kong holding like Anne, which is one thing that they should have added to this guy. Like, I don't know why they don't have a hand where he's holding Anne. That would have been like, it feels necessary, but they didn't add that, which is kind of a bummer. But regardless, normally you'd have Kong like holding a woman, or Anne specifically. However, you kind of got me as like the human holding the tiny gorilla, where it's kind of inverted and it's kind of funny. Yeah, regardless, let's get to my point. This figure is pretty big. He's in the sort of 7-inch scale, but let's see how high he exactly measures. He measures like, about 21 centimeters, just going off my really inaccurate loose measurements here. Yeah, he measures about 21 centimeters, which is 8 inches. So what am I talking about, 7-inch scale? This guy measures 8 inches tall, so he's a really big Kong figure. Particularly because, again, he has these really long, athletic legs, which looks really weird for a Kong design, because King Kong has usually had really sort of short legs. much more broad-looking legs and long arms. So this is really weird to see. He does have really long arms too, though, but like, I don't know. If it were me, I would have preferred if his legs and maybe his torso were a little bit shorter. I think that's a lot more accurate to how he was in that original movie, because he didn't have this body shape. That's like the main difference between this and the original Kong, which is a shame because it's like you can't get movie accurate versions of the original 33 King Kong, and it's like one of the most classic, iconic movie monsters of all time. Yet we just don't have movie accurate figures of that thing. It's such a shame. I don't know. This is the closest thing we've gotten in a long time. I think there was like the McFarlane figure or something from back in the day, but even that's kind of like really stylized and it's kind of expensive, and I don't know. It's, yeah, you're just better off getting customs at this point. But this is still pretty cool, really close. Like, I'm thinking perhaps if I get another one, if I find one for a decent enough price, I might modify it and see if I can get it to be screen accurate. That would be really cool. Again, I think cutting down the midsection a little bit and shortening the legs would be the way to go. I'm not really sure how to do that, because the legs, yeah, there's a lot of articulation in there, so it's going to be hard to mess with them, and I feel bad just breaking up the sculpt, because again, the fur and all the sculpt work is beautiful on this thing. Like, really well refined. It's a lovely looking figure. So we're talking about the size of this thing. I'll bring in a couple of other Kong figures I happen to have on hand, a couple of other general figures as well. So the first one is a 2005, I think this is this a Playmates figure? Forgot the brand of this figure. I think it might be actually a Playmates figure from 2005 of the original, not the original, Peter Jackson's King Kong. You can see it's a very stylized figure. It doesn't really look like the film very much, but it is a cool sort of 6-7 inch size figure, and you can see this new NECA King Kong figure really dwarfs him. So, yeah, again, really big looking figure, and you can even see the legs on this thing look kind of weird and long, even compared to this figure here, which is already kind of weird and stylized to begin with. Next figure I wanted to bring in is the Mezco Kong figure. So this particular one is a bootleg, but it's pretty much spot on to the black and white variant of this figure to begin with. It's a great figure. It always felt like a NECA figure, so I was really curious how this one would compare to the actual NECA Kong. And you can see, again, this one dwarfs him by like a lot. It's just so funny to see, because this thing's just this really weird looking body plan. Again, the detailing on him is so good. Again, the face is so good, the fur, the detailing, the hand and the feet details, and everything, the chest, and it's all so beautifully done, but just the body plan is so... I don't like it. It feels like the Monsterverse Kong a little bit, but even that one I feel like he had more stubby legs. This guy's just got these really athletic, weird legs, which isn't something you see on a Kong, and his torso's too long. It's bothering me a little bit. Like, is there a way of... He does have ab crunch, so you could kind of slope him down a little bit, and you can bend his knees, but it's still not the... Like, it's not the same. Like, you can imitate it a little bit, like that looks a little bit better, but like the Kong in the original film, he did stand on his hind legs quite a bit from what I remember, and he definitely didn't have this body plan. This does have actually really good articulation, just kind of messing with it now. His ab crunch is really good as well. Regardless, let's get back to it. So let's compare these two guys. We can get rid of his bone. Let's take a look. So the detailing main differences is of course there are vastly different versions of Kong. This one is kind of like this very stylized version. I love the hair on this thing as well. It's a very different style of hair. Less detailed, but they're just really frantic, very wild shaped details with a lot of dry brushing on them, so it's very expressive looking. Whereas this one has much finer details for the hair. It's much more evenly coated and really high detail work in the hair, so They're both very different in that regards. Again, you can see this guy has a much more Kong-like body shape with the more broad, shorter legs. This guy has this massive athletic, weird legs. I don't know. He doesn't look like Kong. He looks more like a Sasquatch or something like that with these legs. It's really weird. But this guy has the really overemphasized sort of shoulders with the really low head where it almost looks like it's coming out of his chest, upper chest area, rather than like him having a real neck or anything. And the classic Kong big arms, and he's actually got a little Andaro figure, which, you know, would be really good if you could use it for this guy here, which is a possibility maybe with his other hands. He doesn't really have like hands that can hold an Andaro. These are like open palm sort of hands, so you can see there. So I don't really know. Maybe a custom-made hand could hold Andaro, and that would be really great with this figure too. Might be something I do if I do get one of these to modify, which I don't know if I really will, because I have way too many projects on my plate at the moment. Regardless, it's a cool idea for something that maybe could happen in the future. They both feel about the same weight as well, because this guy's really chunky as well. Similar material they're made out of as well, and I really love both of these figures, actually. Unfortunately, these aren't movie accurate at all to any movie, but they're two of the best Kong figures on the market at the moment, which is saying a lot, seeing as King Kong vs. Godzilla, Godzilla vs. Kong, sorry. I'm thinking of the 62 film there, but I'm trying to talk about the upcoming one for 2021 now. So seeing as that movie is actually getting a lot of merch, some of the cheaper toys, granted, is all that's coming out so far, but still, it's a bit sad that these two non-movie accurate figures are the best Kongs that are on the market at the moment. Anyway, let's bring in the 1962 NECA Godzilla, seeing as this Godzilla did fight Kong, and we don't have a Kong to really go with him from that movie. Although I am getting the YMSF version of that Kong, because I think they'll scale beautifully. But yeah, that's how these two scale. This Kong is way too tall for this Godzilla. In general, Kong typically is tiny compared to Godzilla in most movie incarnations. It just so happened that they blew him up to 50 meters tall with this matchup. But this this isn't how it was at all, and it just looks really funny, where this Kong is just huge next to this Godzilla, and it's not accurate at all. Which is a bit of a shame, but, you know, maybe there is a 62 Godzilla out there where this Kong might scale up with him, but I haven't seen that figure. And we can just bring in the NECA 2014 Godzilla, just because, like, everyone has this figure, so you guys would definitely be able to tell how these two scale up. This guy measures about 6 inches tall, which is like 15-16 centimeters tall. So you can see them next to each other. Completely the wrong scaling for these two. And again, we're gonna have this guy fighting Kong in the next year when that movie comes out, because God only knows when that movie's coming out now. It keeps getting pushed back, but fingers crossed we'll be able to see it in theaters, because there's this whole thing where they're saying it's coming out on HBO Max, and it's just like, I don't want to get freaking HBO Max. I already have to get Disney fucking Plus to watch The Mandalorian, and I already have Netflix, and I don't want to pay for another one or get another trial for... I just want to see it in cinemas, guys. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point. I may or may not do a full review of this thing in the near future, but for now I'm pretty much just gonna leave it at that. I do really love this thing, and I'm definitely gonna spend a lot of time messing around with this, but I am bummed out that they didn't make this accurate to the 33 film, because I still think he just looks really weird. He's too tall. He's too tall and lanky looking, which is such a shame, because everything else on him is so beautifully done. Especially this face here. This one is just gorgeous. But yeah, that is it for this review, guys, or this unboxing. I hope to see you in the next one. But till then, mull your vinyl, be irradiated vinyl. Over and out. Bye.